Mm, Hello to everybody. We are ready to start our first ephemera. We are super excited about having these first 10 artists from all around the world sharing their work with us in these difficult times. So I will like to say thank you first for those ones who write and sign up for being part of the first version of ephemera. Uh, and we're gonna go with our first artist. She is called Zakia Fawcett. She is in Glasgow, in Scotland. Um, and no more words for this. Let's start with the performance of Zakia.
Video online that was like, oh, do you know that if you take a photo fully clothed, there's like something on you? I was like, oh, this one's cool. Try that out. This is the water's cool.
What are you doing now?
I'm just gonna get on my clothes yet. I'm just gonna got quite a few layers on. Okay.
Why are you wearing that?
I like wearing the bling. I think that it can bring so much comfort in the way. It's just so happy. In a way that gives you an opportunity to make your body however you want it to be. I mean, that's what I like about them. So, no. I think like
Are you nervous?
not as nervous as that.
How do you feel? When will this be over? Who are you right now?
I don't know.
Do you feel lonely often?
Yeah. I feel like everyone does it. Sometimes there's just so nice to feel good. Yeah?
Where are you? you glad this is coming to an
Oh,
Thank you so much. She was Zakia Fawcett.
I finally felt like I had a complete thought. I finally felt like I had a complete thought. A thought from beginning to end with no jumps or skips or detours in between. A coherent thought with all the corresponding correct steps, no hiccups leading to some other space elsewhere, fragmenting everything. No. Just right here. A thought. Thought from beginning to end. And it it made me so excited because as you probably guessed by now, this normally doesn't happen to me. It's actually been years since I last had a coherent thought. Anyways, I wanted to write this thought from beginning to end, beginning to end, beginning to end, beginning. I wanted to write this thought from beginning to end, beginning to end, beginning to end down, but as I started, pardon me, to write it down, I lost most of it. And it was sad. So very sad because now I've lost something which I don't even know what is anymore. And it's sad to think that I'm sad about something which I don't even know what is. I mean, how can you the feeling? Oh, the feeling. The feeling was fantastic, though, when I had the thought. No, well, obviously you don't have a thought. You don't have it. I mean, that's not what I meant with have. Sorry, it's the wrong word. I hope it's not too late Is it too late? People are always late. And I always arrive early. And then I just end up leaving in the end because I lose my mojo, waiting around in the rain or in the sun. Well, the weather doesn't really matter now, does it? No. Well, unless you want to be too cold or too hot. Is it a little hot in here? Is it just me? Tell me, how are you doing today? Oh, it is a little bit hot, huh? Tell me time. Time is that thing which we cannot control, eh? Whether you stop or run, it just goes on by, am I right? And no matter how expensive your watch is, it's going to tell exactly the same time as my cheap one. 24/7 with everything arriving in an instant. 24/7, 30, 31, 28, depending on which month they're talking about. February is a weird one. Hi, my name is, and I'm the creator of. An unresolved thought is a mystery, forever lost.
Thank you so much. She was Linnea Langfjord Christensen. She's actually a Danish artist, but she's based in London right now. Now we can continue with the next performance. I would like to present this artist I met a couple of years ago in one of the festivals we did in Copenhagen. This festival was called Body Landscapes. And she started thinking about doing performance, so I'm really glad she will start doing performance with us in Performance Køkkenet. She's Nomi Schmidt. I would say she's from South Korea, but she's based in Copenhagen, so it's kind of a migrant soul. I will put her in the stream, and she will start her performance very soon. Now. She was Nomi Schmidt. Thank you so much. And now we're going to continue with the next artist, Ishita from Mumbai in India.
Yeah.
She was Nomi Schmidt. Thank you so much. And now we're going to continue with the next artist.
Where do I belong? 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 Here or there? Where do I belong? Here or there or there? Where do I belong? 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 Here, there, here. Where do I belong? Where do I belong? Where do I belong?
Thank you so much to Ishita. I hope my pronunciation is okay. And now we are going with the next artist, Maya Re Oppenheimer.
My name is Maya Ray. I'm joining you from Tiohtia, Muniang, also known as Montreal, Montreal, in what is currently Canada, where I'm a guest on unceded Kanien'kehá:ka land. Our COVID-19 mandate here is lockdown status. This includes a provincial curfew enforced with fines of 1,500 Canadian dollars per person, issued to those found in civic space without a provincially determined valid reason between the hours of 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. The province extends this order to underhoused and unhoused communities. As these measures continue during this pandemic, I have been documenting psychological advice circulating in the public domain that advise stressed, anxious, and ill followers on how to rest and how to care for yourself. These measures are both absurd and necessary in an attempt to survive this pandemic, to survive related illness, to survive vulnerabilities, to survive traumas and related struggles. Please join me and take care. Please rest well. Please support the care of others when you can. Stretch. Drink water. Spend time in nature. Do some coloring. Call a loved one. Oh, hang on. I was kind of hoping you wouldn't pick up, but I'm doing this thing I'll explain later. No, everything's fine. I just wanted to call and say I love you, and I'll call you later, okay? Great, okay. Love you lots. Bye. Paint your nails. Practice smiling. Exfoliate. Eat fruit. Take a deep breath. Put on lipstick. Eat chocolate. Eat greens. Write in a journal. Invest in a hobby. Light a candle. Sip some tea. Moisturize. Propagate a plant or vegetable cuttings. Wear a mask. Enforce boundaries. Cut your hair. Administer gentle electric shocks. Plan ahead. Don't worry about tomorrow.
She was Maya Rai Oppenheimer. Fantastic work. Thank you so much. Now we have the next artist should be here in a couple of seconds. So the next artist is Erin Peisert, and she is from United States. She is right now. She will transmit right now from Chicago, United States, and yeah, but I don't see her now here. But during, if in the meantime we wait for Erin, I would like to talk a little bit about this project while she arrives. So this project is called Ephemera because we are doing actions, short actions that they supposed to last for a certain time and then they disappear, as the performance art is. It's an ephemeral product of art. But in these times, this ephemeral situation is not there anymore because we have documentation of all the cultural products of our generation, basically. So it's kind of a game calling ephemeral something that it will last probably forever in this kind of virtual world. Because in the virtual world, nothing actually disappears. Everything continues in some kind of cloud information. And actually, we as humans, we are taking a lot of effort on maintaining those datas available for the people in the future. And now, maintaining this information is really important for our generation, and is the generation that produces the most information than never before. Now we have here Erin. She will be in about 2 seconds in the broadcasting. I will put her right now.
Oh, and I switch it around? You already said. And I need to switch it. It looks like it's filming me, not you. That is okay. I don't see you coming. I don't see exactly what it is. I don't see you, it's just... This. How do I switch this?
Hello again. I think we had some kind of technical issue with the performance of Erin. Maybe we can continue with her performance later, maybe at the end of the broadcasting. We're gonna solve these issues, and from now I think we can continue with the next performance. Is a Colombian artist based in Granada, Spain, and she's called Diana Lucia Mariño. I need maybe thumbs up if you are ready to go. Perfect. So she is Diana Lucia Marin.
Are you hearing the music? I hope. Todos los días, cuando salgo a caminar rumbo al trabajo. Todos los días, cuando salgo a caminar para relajarme un poco. Todos los días, cuando salgo a tomar el sol, todos los días, si me pongo falda corta porque tengo calor. Todos los días, cuando camino de regreso a casa. Todos los días. Porque te parecí guapa. Todos los días. Porque camino vestida. Todos los días, caminando mientras hablo por teléfono. Todos los días, mientras camino, viendo la luna. Todos los días porque camino. Todos los días. Por ir vestida. Por no ir vestida. Por pensar. Por decir. Todos los días caminando de regreso a casa. todos los días, porque alguien te dijo que calladita me veo más bonita.
Wow, she was Diana Lucia Mariño, a really powerful performance from this Colombian artist. We are a little bit ahead on time. That means we are on schedule, and it's pretty rare that this happens. Normally, it's the opposite. We are lacking time, but this time it's kind of okay. So I will present the next artist. It's important to say that she was already part of one of the performance Køkkenet projects. She sent us a video for one of our open calls. She's called Alina Tofan. She's from Bucharest, but the opposite. She's from Baca, and she lives in Bucharest now, in Romania. She will present a performance called Infinite Blue, and she asked me to read first this statement before she starts. I quote, "An infinite blue has forgotten the flourished land." It's a lyric from a popular Romanian song by Angela Similea from the Communism. Romania 2020, as COVID infections began to reported around the world, many countries responded by shutting down places. You need a personal declaration forms for moving during the night. For me, it feels like the governments are using the pandemic as an extra excuse to restrict freedoms. I'm blue, at home, washing my hands with alcohol-based sanitizers, trying to live in a non-contaminated world, looking for democracy. I will let you with Alina Tofan.
La la, un albastro infinito, un albastro infinito, un albastro infinito.
Thank you so much, Alina, for your performance, and thank you always for sending us your work. We are so glad you are sharing this with us and with all the audience that have been following our events since 2017. The next performance, it's Patricia Correa from Portugal.
Centro da cidade, meu morrerei, escrevendo que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, meu morrerei, escrevendo que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, grito. Meu morrerei, escrevendo que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, grito. Meu morrerei, escrevendo que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, grito. Meu morrerei, escrevendo que a vida me deixar. Malam hadirin sekalian, selamat berpindah dan sampai bertemu lagi di lain waktu. No centro da cidade, grito. Meu morrerei, escrevendo que a vida me deixar. Salvete quicunque estis, bonam erga vos voluntatem aver, No centro da cidade, um grito. Eu implorei, escrevendo o que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, um grito. Eu implorei, escrevendo o que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, um grito. Eu implorei, escrevendo o que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, um grito. Eu implorei, escrevendo o que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, um grito. Eu implorei, escrevendo o que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, um grito. Eu implorei, escrevendo o que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, um grito. Eu implorei, escrevendo o que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, um grito. Eu implorei, escrevendo o que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, um grito. Eu implorei, escrevendo o que a vida me deixar. No centro da cidade, um grito. Eu implorei, escrevendo o que a vida me deixar.
She was Patricia Correa. Thank you so much for your performance. And now we are going ahead with the next performance, and it's the last for today's session. I'm super glad to present the next artist. Is Johannes Sitz.
This woolen blanket could easily be over 60 years old and came to Canada in the 1960s. It traveled across the Atlantic Ocean on a ship called the Seven Seas, arriving in Montreal, and then journeyed by train to Edmonton. The label indicates that it was woven in the A and B woolen mill in Tilburg, Holland. It also claims that it prevents rheumatism. Wool is known to be hyperallergenic and regulates a constant body temperature. It shows its age in the color choice and pattern, quite unusual by today's standards. It's been in storage for many years now, lost its usefulness. Made for a single bed, it's too small, not long enough. Won't cover the entire bed. It's still as warm as it ever was, being kept just in case it's needed, wanted. The tank top was bought on an impulse last year during Boxing Day sales at Square One shopping mall in Mississauga. It was produced in India for the department store chain Simons. The label indicates that it's made from organic cotton. The striped pattern is quite unusual, as is the color combination. It seems almost retro, harkening back to the early 70s. The small pocket on the chest is well hidden in the pattern, but is almost useless. It will likely remain fashionable for the next year or two, then will fall out of favor for something else. The boxers are a year older than the tank top and were bought because they were on sale. They were made in China and, like the tank top, made for the department store chain Simons. According to the label, they are made of 95% cotton and 5% spandex. The colors are starting to fade now, except for the black trim around the legs and waistband. Because it's being worn regularly, it might not last another season. The seam between the front pouch and the back will be the first to fall apart. Then it will be recycled into a rag.
Thank you so much, Johannes, for your work, for sharing with us your fantastic approach. He was Johannes Seeds, and I'm pretty glad of seeing how his work is developing in this way. I've seen a couple of performances of him in these online platforms, and I really like the idea of sharing this work and developing something that is created just for this environment. We have now contacted Erin. She was the artist who had an issue with the broadcasting, but now she's I think she's ready. I will put her camera on the stream just to ask if she's ready or not. Hello? Erin? Hello? Can you point the camera to the other side, please? Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, how are you?
Good. And
Good,
you?
and
How
you?
you
How
doing?
you doing?
Very good. How is your name?
Alberto.
Alberto?
Alberto. Thank you so much for helping Erin with this. Can you look at the camera just a little bit?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Hello. So you have. Can you please, when Erin start the performance, can you point the camera to her, because we are looking at you all the time. So maybe you can turn the camera.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
The other
You let
side.
me know when you're
When
gonna
you're gonna
start.
start.
We are already transmitting this, so we are
Oh, okay.
in the broadcast. We are, yeah, exactly. We are broadcasting right now. So if we, so there is Erin. So we're gonna start right now, and I will leave the broadcasting just to her camera, and I will let you know when the time is done. Okay?
Oh,
They
they
didn't
didn't
start yet.
start yet?
No, you can start now, and
She
yes, so
started.
we are ready. Cool. Bye, and keep filming it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will not cut the performance because I think she will continue for a while. But I would like to say thanks to all the artists that were part of this. Maybe Alberto, you can tell Erin to come in a minute so we can speak about what just happened. And in the meantime, I will add you, all the artists, to the broadcast so you can speak and we can share some thoughts about what just happened. Johannes Seitz.
Thank you.
Patricia Correa. Ishita. Diana. Alina. Oh, I can only put 6. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, I can only put 6 in the streaming. So I will like to add then Linnea, Maya, and who else? Alina and Zakia. But we will start with you first, and I would like to ask, what did you feel about this this methodology of streaming? If any of you have a specific thought, because last festival I organized was made with Zoom.
Your voice is not clear.
Sorry?
Your voice is not clear. Like.
Okay. Maybe it was because now it's better. Okay. So the last performance event we organized was in Zoom, and I think it has been a little bit overwhelming, all the Zoom thing lately. So this time I wanted to do a little bit different and allows people to actually just do a performance like they were in a real in an actual stage. I think we lost one of the broadcaster, but I will add Maya to the stream. Yes? Hello, Maya. So do you have any thought about this platform? Something that you would like to add to next editions?
Of course, I like you can add video to which add this platform.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it was really nice the way you fixed it. You actually worked with the things you had, and it was really interesting the way you solved the issue.
It took a lot of
I would like to ask Patricia, your performance was really touching, and do you feel that this platform or this way of doing a performance add aesthetically for your performance?
Really great. Share one. And I think it's a medium performance. It's a different type of medium that we're just now discovering further. So when I think my streaming performance, I try to do them for the camera live. So I think it especially today, I really think that we all have so much connections between some type of little colors or little elements, little objects. I don't know, these things usually happen just when we're doing live performance, that we find these connections. And today I really found connections with you all through sound or elements. And yeah, but through my work, I really did a special work, because today I vote for the Portuguese presidentials, and we're having a really big far right uprising, more or less all over the world. And there have been some comments through women's lipstick, so I wanted to get it through my performance. So it's really touching for me to do this and to share with you all. So thank you, David, so much to allow us this platform and to use something different than Zoom. I think this was really, really special. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for your answer. I actually think that your performance is one of those that was thought for the camera, and it was like completely created for this kind of model of work. And also the work of Maya was pretty interesting, the way she put it herself in the camera, like covering part of the face and like this. I will ask Patricia, can I put you in the backstage again to let in Zakia? And don't leave, because I can put you back if you want to say something. You just tell me and I put you in the broadcast again. Cool. So now Zakia is part. I would like to ask Maya. Your work was pretty interesting. I like this idea of doing what you are saying. It's like your self-instruction of wellness or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think it's very important the composition and all the elements you put on the table for this aesthetic you kind of created for us. Can you tell us from where did this idea came of doing and saying it?
Absolutely. Thank you for your question. And I wanted to echo something that Patricia said as well about how this allowed us to bring in politics of our particular localities and communities into performances that then allowed us to make like a narrative across international communities. I think that was something that was really special about this format that you helped organize, and thank you so much for doing the hosting, David. It was that particular like mix of like a choir, like togetherness, but we were all responding to our localities at the same time, and that I found was really, really special. I didn't expect it to be quite so palpable whilst doing the performance, especially because I was starting to pick up on common themes and the props and the vibes and just the energy. And in terms of the props that I chose, I'm really interested in instructions, how to imperative voice that comes from some sort of advice source to be enlivened by an individual, and how on the one hand they can translate and become very important, but on the other hand they can just be completely absurd for whatever an individual is facing in the moment. And as I've been documenting these advice things that I find on like Psychology Today magazine, or even just Instagram, like, you know, the Instagram graphics that are becoming so ubiquitous right now, I was also struck with how they alluded to ideas of gender expression, around ideas of beauty as care and rest, but then also because they were filling up my feed so much betwixt you know, like announcements around how COVID and how the curfew is impacting communities, there was this weird like absurdity of, you know, underhoused populations being fined because they can't shelter in place, but then like, oh, put on lipstick, do your makeup to feel better even though you're not leaving the house. So I was interested in experimenting with that kind of absurdity with the props that I had to hand.
Thank you so much. I would like to ask Diana, your performance was really powerful, but yeah, and amazing. It's a social commentary, very powerful. I would like you to maybe have a couple of words about it for those one who actually don't speak Spanish. I think it's really necessary you tell us a little bit about it. And in the meantime, I will put Maya in the backstage and I will bring Linnea in.
Okay, yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for the space to share. This is just a part of a research that I'm developing since like 2 years ago that it's called Miss Mercancía, which is a phrase that in English translate like Miss Merchandising or something like that. And I'm working with the idea of how the patriarchy eats our females' bodies every day, every time, everywhere. And actually, it's fun. It's funny because I was thinking to say the words in Spanish, but at the same in English, sorry. But at the same time, I want you to hear my language, which is Spanish, even when I can speak in English. And the other thing that I want to say it was that I had a technical problem because I was planning to do it outside. Meanwhile, I was walking because sometimes when I was just walking, I feel this kind of scenes or commentaries that I don't know how to say piropo in English, but okay, like words that some guys says to you just because you're walking. So, but at the end, my phone doesn't work, and I was I don't know why, but at the end, I needed to do it inside and not outside as I was planning. So yeah, right now I had a little. My body's feeling very weird because I'm not used to eat some jam. But yeah, I just want to talk about how the capitalism of the body don't let me being a woman, because it's just because when you are walking, some people, because of the patriarchy system, thinks that has the right to say something to you when we know that just because of the space are public, it doesn't mean that my body is public, but sometimes I'm super done as a lot of girls of these kind of things. So yeah, Miss Mercancía, this is just a part I'm doing. Actually, this is the second time that I shared part of this research. I'll be doing some photographies and dancings and things about this topic. But yeah, I was just, when I was speaking, meanwhile, I don't know if you saw my action or not, but when I was just speaking in Spanish, sorry, I was saying words like, just because I'm walking, you say something, or just every day because when I came back by walk to my home, you say something. And I just was saying phrases like, quite of them were a little ridiculous, like just because I'm with clothes. And yeah, I don't know, it was just to try to translate with my body how like the biggest angry that I feel when someone in the street just tell me or I don't know, this kind of shit. So yeah, this is why I was wanting to share with you this part of my research. And thank you, David, for the space. And I was yesterday trying to ask him if I can do some like a little rehearsal, but I can't. So, but yeah, I don't know. Or maybe if you have questions, it will be more easy. And if not, just thank you for the space to share.
Thank you so much, Diana. I think it was amazing, your work, and it's always nice to find people from your country doing such a great job. And yeah, I'm glad. I'm also Colombian, and I actually consider that our political condition or our political statements are a little bit easier to say in this side of the world, and we have to take advantage of that privilege we have of living in Europe. So thank you so much for using that privilege to say what we need to say. Thank you so much.
Cool.
I would like to add to the conversation Alina. And Diana, I will put you in the backstage for a couple of minutes. Hello, Alina. I would like to ask, this is very random. It's my first time using this broadcast studio, so I'm picking people like randomly into the broadcast part, but I'm not asking in that order. I should have done it differently. I would like to ask Ishita, tell us about your work. I like the aesthetic and the repetition, but I would like to know a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so after doing
Because I also work with aesthetics of identity, and it was like this soliloquium of a problematic identity. So I would like to know more about it.
so it's basically not about like identity, but it's about like where I actually belong. So I studied in London, and after that, like I went couple of times, and I really felt at home there, rather than all the years staying like 30 years of my age in my country at my home. I felt more homely over there, and unfortunately I couldn't stay there, and I had to come back because of visa issues. So after that, I'm still searching now, like where do I belong really? Like if I belong to London, but I cannot go there. So where is my true home, which I can call like, that's my home, and I feel safe, or I feel secure, or I feel at peace. So the white is whole. I wrapped myself with tapes and white clothing and all. So that's because of ultimately you want peace after doing anything. We just need peace at the end of the day, so it's about seeking peace also.
Thank you so much, Ishita. I would like to ask Zakia too. I know already your work. You have sent your work before to one of the projects I had in the past. It was actually at the beginning of the pandemic, so it's very interesting how your work have developed, because you were also exploring the space and this internal space, actually your home, and it's very interesting. Do you want to speak a little bit more about your research on your body and your space, please?
Yeah, sure. So over the quarantine periods, and I've actually moved flat. Like, I think I've moved a total of 3 or 4 times over this. So kind of like my sense of space, and I guess, yeah, thinking about where I belong has been something that's been a big consideration. And there's these kind of spaces for me which consistently bring comfort, but also I guess at the same time have a quality of like, because it's so comforting, there's you can become trapped in it. Do you know what I mean? So baths and beds, and I've done like a lot of pieces with beds and sleeping and stuff like that, and I'm kind of interested in this like comparison between like stasis and activity. And I was also considering themes of isolation and obviously identity as well. And that's something that's really come to the forefront both in my own life and also in my work, because in the work that I sent before, then I was just quite recently out at that point, and I'd had like long hair for a really, really long time, and I cut it quite short. And now I've been like out as trans for a bit over a year now, and it's really like changed my life. And the relationship that I have with my body and the clothes that I wear is something that's like a massive consideration into thinking about, how others are perceiving me. And so in particular, this is kind of influenced by a number of events of kind of like, once you start to become more undressed, then the body can be more easily categorized into specifically male or female. Like there's this one time that there's this a person that I was seeing, and I felt like we were very much on the same page about, you know, who I was and stuff like that. And then they kind of turned to me and they were like, "Oh, I see you as a girl. Like, you have tits, so you're a girl." And so I was kind of interested in this idea of like what it's like to get a bath but not go to a point of nudity, and, you know, stay in that kind of space of androgyny at the same time. So yeah, so it was kind of combining just lots of ideas that are on my mind at all times, and just kind of using that as a space to explore it. And I'm not sure how much it came across like in the actual thing, because like I heard from like a few people that they couldn't really hear me speaking, but I was supposed to be kind of like interviewing myself, so that I was kind of creating this dialogue between like the past and the present. So I was also considering like ways that I can kind of interact with the space and still make it interesting while also just being in my flat, because that was my main thing coming into this, was thinking like, how can I make this something that's like visually and sonically interesting, but it is just going to be in my flat, like over a camera and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about.
Well, thank you so much. I would like to ask Johannes, because I will put Johannes, Ishita, and Zakia again in the backstage after this question, because I want to bring Erin. I want to bring Diana again, maybe, and Maya again. So, Johannes, I'm really intrigued about the blanket you were talking about, because I know you have something like collecting stuff, and the last piece you did was interacting with some clothes you have been collecting for a long time. And what about the blanket?
This blanket is actually from Holland, and came to Canada the same time as I did, essentially, with my mother. So it was a real contrast between the old and the new. And when I found the label, I'd also found out that the where is it now? Here it is. That the that it was, the company went bankrupt in favor of duvets and feather down and all that kind of stuff. So woolen blankets are almost passé. That there's other ways of keeping warm and things like that. And I just find that the contrast between this trendy T-shirt and this woolen blanket, a beautiful contrast that I wanted to work with. And so it's, again, I don't know, just a quick tons and tons of clothing that I save. Never know when something will come in handy. Never know when it will come to pass. And I've got other pieces that I'm planning on working with that deal with different elements like lace and red, the color red. So I'm and using this green screen space that I've created, I can make it anything I want. So and just completely obsessing the blanket as an abstract thing, and then having something real like me as a contrast to the abstraction is what I'm playing with. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Johannes. And I actually like so much your work since I met you in Copenhagen last year. I will bring to the streaming Maya again, but I will ask Linnea about your work. I like that where you were saying was kind of the opposite of what you were doing. Like the messages were super mixed, and I love this image, like conflicting. It was super conflicting. Can you tell us a little bit about your work, please?
Yeah, sure. What I did now was the opening monologue of a longer play that I wrote for digital. And it's just this person who is completely fragmented by the world that they live in, and constantly jump between different emotional states and can't really remember anything because they constantly have to be very busy and productive and think about loads of things. And then it kind of ends in this really awkward sales pitch. I like really briefly that's what that is. But I guess in my work deals quite a lot with like which parts of reality are real and which are representations of other things. And I think when it comes to performance art, I've had the experience that there's been this kind of division between that and then acting theater, because that's like not real for some reason, compared to let's say just like performance art, which is something I find very interesting and weird and don't necessarily agree with. So I was quite interested in what it means to have someone performing these very extreme emotional states, but actually feeling them, and then does that make it as real as anything else, even though it is rehearsed? I guess, yeah, that's that was that was what that.
Thank you, Linnea, for and also thank you for being part of this project. It's really important, and it's nice. I didn't know your work from before, and I'm glad to meet new Danish artists that I didn't know before. It's also thank you so much for sharing with us your work. Alina, I think the performances lately have been permeated by the idea of everything that is happening with the pandemic. Like we are now full of things with alcohol, and this is our everyday life, so it's impossible not to use it in performance because we see it all the time and we are in contact with those elements, those aesthetic elements all the time. So can you please speak a little bit about why did you choose the gel, and how it's related with this song you told me about in the statement, because I think it's
about
really interesting.
Yeah, about the color. Infinite Blue was a popular Romanian song, very famous. All the parents and the grandparents know this song. And also the alcohol, the sanitizer alcohol. Mona is a famous brand of this in Romania. And the mix of this and the pandemic, I think it was the best for this kind of work, because I want to present something related with my place with Romania with you, to share this. I don't know exactly, but for me, I think this is very similar with the communism what we live now, with all the restrictions. Like we don't have to be outside on the streets during the night. Everything is closed. The measures are a little bit strange, and the way people react is very similar with the communism. Like they buy a lot of sanitary alcohol, and that's why I did it. I did the mix with the alcohol and the blue.
Thank you so much.
And it's a never-ending story.
Yeah, seems like we will never be rid of this thing, but yeah, maybe we have to learn how to interact with those things. Erin, we had some issues with your performance with the first broadcasting, but we finally got to see your performance. That was really interesting. Thank you so much. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your performance?
Yeah, sure. Hi. I apologize for the technical difficulties at the beginning, but thanks for your patience and allowing me to do it again. Yeah, I've also, related to a lot of the themes that people have shared about, centering the body specifically in place at, during this pandemic time. I've also moved quite a bit internationally, so I'm thinking a lot about how my body relates to specific places and maybe whether or not that's like kind of arbitrary, and making using my body to create marks on a specific place, like kind of rendering time visible in a way, with ephemeral materials. So I've been making in specific places that I've lived, I've been making sort of portraits, ephemeral portraits of this place as I explore, repetition and fatigue in the body. It's specifically a female identifying body in a compromised position. So making these marks with found materials. In this case, I used a brick and some rocks that I found and really like grinding them indexically and repetitively as I crawl, and reflecting on time and place and this sort of futility of existence and crawling forward and what that means to just go forth into life, considering time and what the body can endure. And I've done work in the past too, and I'm still thinking about what it means for a female identifying body to be on the ground. And I've done things having people step over me at the threshold of a doorway, or maybe on me if they would like, depends. I just leave it sort of open. And I find, I've lived in other countries where it's very taboo to be anything on the ground, to put your bag on the ground. I just recently moved from China to the US, and the relationship to the ground is so different. And to be either humbled or people treat me, I notice, as though I'm sort of fragile. Don't be on the ground. You might get hurt, or, oh, it's dirty. Or I've heard, I sense it's sort of, you're a woman, you shouldn't be on the ground. Let me help you up. And this sort of challenging this consideration about whether a female body is actually fragile or deserves different treatment, or how do people respond. Or it's also sort of, there's a lot of associations with a female body on her hands and knees. So just kind of challenging all of those. And I'm so sorry, I can't remember if it was Maya, I think, who said, who was considering how women are regarded in the public space, on the street, or called toward. And that happened. I don't know if it picked up in the video. I think it was the first time I did it where it didn't stream, but I'm always interested in whether or not people engage with me while I do things. And some are willing to help, and one person rolled by in their car and started filming me and, making remarks. And I just think those elements of chance about how women are viewed are interesting, and how people respond to that is part of the question when I leave it open to chance. But it's, for me, a research on my specific body in this time and in this place, and mark making that immediately disappears like life.
Thank you so much, Erin, for sharing your work with us. I think I asked all of you already, yes? We don't have one of the artists who was part of this event. Nomi have left the room, so we actually can't ask her nothing. But I'm glad you are here, and it's good to make this network grow strong, how it's doing right now. I would like to have you in following events, following projects. So thank you so much, and thank you to the people who was in the audience watching the performances. If you see, the comment section is full of comments about your work, about how strong they were, and about how inspiring it is to do performances on political issues, on social circumstances. So it's important to make statements out of our work. As I told Diana, for example, it's very important to use our privilege of being Latin Americans living in Europe. So we have to take that privilege and work with. And artists, we are privileged because we can use our own body to deliver this kind of messages through performance art. And it's very inspiring to see your work, and I'm sure the people who was looking the streaming will be also inspired by your works. So thank you so much for joining this Ephemera #1, and I hope to see you soon, to all of you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you so much. Yes. And see you the next time. I will open the list like 1 week before the next. It will be super busy, but I hope you will be there, either performing or as audiences. Thank you so much, and have, please, a really nice 2021.